Gentlemen, welcome back to the mess, which is my desk. And as you can see, I've got lots of projects going on here at the moment. Now, today is a mail day and I only got 2 packages in the mail, but one of them came from Bulgaria. So I've got no idea what's in this one. So let's go and get this opened up and see what goodies we've got inside. Ooh. That doesn't look very model related. What the? Oh! What the? Oh, look at that. Look at that. How cool is that? It is model related. If I open it up, I thought it was something the wife had ordered. But look! It's a baby power board. How cute is that? Now, I bought this from AUAV, and rather me getting this wrong, I'll put the link and a screenshot up on the screen for you. So this is the official site to buy the Pix Racer kit from. So let's get back to this tiny little baby thing, and I do love the packaging. That's a gift box for a necklace, or there's 2 slots in there, so that's earrings, isn't it? Or maybe it's earrings and something else. I don't know. How cute is that? Very, very well protected. I'm really impressed by their packaging. So what is it in short? Well, in short, it is a tiny, let me get this the right way round and let me go and plug that in. Excuse me fumbling around on the desk. Let me plug that in there. And I do love these clips. I tell you what, the one thing which I do like about the Pix Racer is that they've got these clips or these connectors on all of their connections, and they're really good. They're so much more nicer than the standard connectors, which I did have some floating around on my desk. No, sorry, maybe I don't have them floating around on my desk. But if you listen very carefully, in fact, let me go and put this by the microphone. Let me plug that in. Hear that little click? And then that's in there really good. That's not coming out again. And it's super, super easy to get back out again. I really do love the thought and the attention to detail which has gone in to the Pix Racer. And by the way, there is my Pix Racer. And he's got this funny little board sat on top. And that funny little board is, an ESP8266 Wi-Fi board. So it means that with my mobile phone, which is over there, excuse the arm, it means that I'll be able to connect via my mobile phone to my Pix Racer. So a kind of similar setup, which what you can do with the NAS A32 board with Bluetooth. We'll be able to do the same with Wi-Fi. So really, really cool. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested in the Pix Racer, you can buy a standard GPS module which has got the compass in it, and you can connect it up. So let me just move this other GPS module out of the way. You can connect it up, but the plugs are slightly weird. And you have 2 plugs on this one and only 1 plug for the Pix Racer. So I've made a separate video which I will put a link in the top right hand corner of your screen so that you can see how you can set that up. It's dead easy. So getting back to this tiny little board, very, very simple. Number 1, it's a power supply board for the Pix Racer. So this plug will go into the power plug round on the side of the Pix Racer. But on the back, you'll notice that there's 2 pads. So this bottom pad is ground, so that'll be the black wire from the battery. And then and again, I don't know which side it needs to do on. I need to go and look at the oh no, it tells. Oh, I mean, it was so well thought through. I really don't know if this is going to come out. So I'll tell you what, I'll take a photo of it on my desk and then you can see it. But on one side of the board, you've got ESC, and the other side, you've got BAT+. So this tiny little board is a current sensing board. And the reason why I bought this is because I've really just got into FPV properly on Flying Wings, and the one thing which I'm quite good at right now is because I am having so much fun in the air, and I'll stick a little bit of flight footage up for you with the Bonsai, is that I'm having so much fun with it, is that I keep flying these models until they fall out of the sky because I've got no idea on the current usage. And this little board, just going back to it on there, if I run the battery supply through this, it then means that I will be able to see and set warnings for the amount of current used during that flight. So if I'm running with a 1000 milliampere pack, then I can set the limit to give me like 200. So when I've been in use, say 600 or 700 milliamps of current, is that I can get some warnings to pop up on there, or at least just know what's going on via an on-screen display. And of course, if I'm using a bigger battery pack, for example, that I will be able to change the settings and have a longer flight, etc., etc. Now, that's part number one. So I am super chuffed with that, and I love that little box. It's so cool. In fact, I'll include it in the photograph when I do it in a minute. Now, before we go any further, I just want to point out that we do have a FaceBalls group dedicated to this YouTube channel. The linky is underneath this video. The reason why you should join this group is very simple. You're going to find out about videos like this one, and maybe, as you can see on my other screen, the sad times which I had with the iNav setup with the NAS A32. So when it in the ground, when I'm running little mini series, is that you'll find out about them first over on Uballs before I even publish them on YouTube. So with that said, really impressed by that. Well done, guys. The other package, fingers crossed, and again, I haven't opened this one up yet. Fingers crossed, this is a CC3D board to carry on with the NAS A32 versus Pixel series. So let's get this one opened up. And what have we got in here? Right. Oh. That's it for the pack. Hey, look at that. Happy days, CC3D board. Where's a pair of snippers? Back in a sec. Right, no scissors, so it's going to have to be brute force with a pair of pliers. That did the job nicely. Right. Aha, yay. Right. Welcome to the CC3D board. Now, this board is exactly the same form factor as a NAS A32, but it's gone down a different development and life cycle. So you'll see it's exactly the same thing. The NAS A32 was meant for a quadcopter, and the same as the CC3D board. Now this is a CC3D Evo board, which is the newer, better board. And I do understand there's lots of different versions, but this one was super cheap. I don't think it was any more than 20 quid. It probably was less than that, and I'll put a link up on your screen. I'll put a screenshot up on your screen for you, and a link here in the description. So the reason why I've bought this one, and it's got lots of little plugs, happy days, and no way as cool. In fact, actually, let me just show you. Again, I'll put this in a photo on your screen for you so you can see the difference between them. So they are about similar pin count on them, the number of wires going out of them, but the one for the CC3D or the NAS A32, for example, or even on the Pixhawk, these are a little bit tricky to get in and out, whereas these, once you plug them in, they go in and they lock in. So we've got a collection of cables there, all pretty straightforward. On this one, now, I haven't used these boards for quite a while. I do run the CC3D in one of my racing quadcopters, and it's really good. Whereas the NAS A32 needed quite a bit of setup and trimming and tuning of the PIDs. The CC3D worked brilliantly out of the box. I didn't need to tweak any of the settings. It might have just been a complete fluke, but for a novice like me, it was brilliant. Now, this one, the most obvious thing which we've got here is the pins out. Now, before you ever connect one of these flight control boards, whether it's the CC3D Evo or any of the CC3Ds, any of the NAS A32 boards, or even the Pix Racer, is that make sure you set this board up first before you connect any of your servos to these connectors. And the reason for that is that all of these flight control boards there, and when you load up like Clean Flight or Libra Pilot, for example, is that they are set up for speed controllers. And if you plug in your servos onto these straight out of the box, and Dropbox has just been updated, is that it will quite likely fry the ESC, fry your servos. So always put your servos on last, okay? Now, with that said, I'm super excited because on my desk I have the Pix Racer, and you can see size for size, they are pretty much exactly the same. And yeah, the Pix Racer maybe, so you can see on the camera, what's that, 3 mils taller, something like that for the actual casing. And yeah, this one's got the Wi-Fi block on top, but this one I'll end up putting a HC06 Bluetooth module on it. Fingers crossed that I can do that, so that I can remote control this one from my mobile phone on the flight line, so I don't have to lug a laptop around with me, just for the sake of changing 1 or 2 settings. Now, this board I will be using for the Pixel and NAS A32 series, as by your suggestions in the comments was, number 1, try out the Pix Racer, number 2, try out the NAS A32 F3 board, which I'm a bit 50-50 on if I'm honest, but I'd like to go to a completely different technology, which is the CC3D, and I will be trying this one in the Texumo as soon as I can. And by the way, look at the size of this. In fact, let me go and show you where I'm going with this. This is my baby bonsai. Look at the size of that board. Stick. That is tiny which is tiny for the baby bonsai. And yeah, that means that potentially we can have stabilization, return to home features. And again, I'd need to connect up a GPS module, and I'm waiting for the GPS module to be delivered. Or in fact, actually, I'm going to go and nick it off my quadcopter, because I never used it. I set all the GPS stuff up on it, and I've got one of those Neo 6 GPSs, and I know it will connect to this board because the other one's a CC3D Evo board as well. So I do have a GPS. The GPS module is absolutely tiny, and you can see where I'm going with this, because this board's not very big. It will fit nicely. Again, I'll probably try and keep it away from the motor as far as I can, and try and keep it on the C of G line, which is about there on the model. And that then means that we can have stabilization on the bonsai, we can have return to home, and we can also have loiter modes with the CC3D. So I'm really looking forward to setting this one up. And with that said, it's time for us to wrap up. Only 2 things in the post, but both of them super exciting. I do like that box. My girls come back off holiday today, so they'll have to share it. I might have to just give them 1/2 each and say, well, that one's got a bow on it, but that one's got some foam in it. I don't know. But time for us to go. So with that said, for myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for taking the time to watch this video. This is me sharing my experiences with RC model planes and a little bit nerdy stuff with the flight control boards. And as we found out in the last video with the NAS A32 versus the Pixel, unfortunately not everything goes to plan. And this is me sharing my journey. So you don't have to lose a model. Once we find out the combinations which work, I'll box this in and make a video tutorial or a set of tutorials so that you don't have to go through the pain of watching your models going straight into the ground like iNav did with the NAS A32. Is that this is why I'm going through these options. So with that said, from myself, Matt, thank you ever so much for watching this video. Oh, and the linky for the FaceBalls group is underneath this video. And on that note, from myself, Matt, cheerios!